What's up guys, Xantos here, and today we're going to go over the crazy ride that last week was with the introduction of Guild Wars. The new system pitted 4 guilds against each other in a war for territories across the map, certain nodes providing greater rewards at day's end, others for holding for periods of time. This week we were pitted against some of the highest scoring guilds of wars. We experienced highs, lows, ups, and downs, but overall had an amazing learning experience for all, and a look at Knighthood from a completely different perspective. I hope you enjoy my recap of the experience, and as always guys, thank you for tuning in. Day 1, we all jumped into wars and were rudely awakened by a confusing system. Attempting to coordinate 25 guys all in different parts of the world proved to be a task that was incredibly difficult. Most of us were eager to try out the new system and used up the majority of our orders fairly quickly. Alongside this, there seemed to be strange tactics afoot. The game was crashing on many members and things were all around messy at start. Most of us were shocked at the cost of the war pass, the cost for bonus orders, and the overwhelming amount of chat blasting us in the face, making it very hard to communicate. We noticed on the first day there seemed to be 3 distinct stages based on time. First was the early stage, the first 8 hours of war, where all of the guilds were conquering and fighting their close-by neighborhood nodes. This was the time most of us used up our orders, as we were all very eager to jump into the new system. At the end of the early stage, our opponent Bestie came out on top by covering the entire map and locking out all guilds from all nodes. The second stage was the next 8 hours. This hallmarked with Italy waking up as they started to fight back with whatever tactics they could, challenging Bestie for the nodes. The late third portion of the day took part mostly in the final 8 hours. This was the resistance put up by Bestie, who countered with more tactics to hold back the Italians. Some of us held back on our orders and were able to snag a few nodes in the final 30 minutes of play. And we thought to ourselves, with practice, we could learn to master this late stage of the war day. The Bestie firepower was too much for day 1, and they ended up taking the day by capturing all major nodes. By the start of day 2, I was dealing with lots of mixed emotions. There seemed to be cases of knights making actions on the field while not losing any orders. Things began to pop up in bugs. Arguments sprouted between guilds. Accusations of whaling, cheating, and dishonest play, all things I had hoped to avoid in wars, seemed inevitably served to me on a plate as a first course dish. Working with the team and knights in the community, maintenance patches came out. Our observations from the second day. We fought at Blue Goat Hill in player versus player combat. There were 3 defenders. The first person I fought was powerful, but I defeated him. Now here comes the juicy part. The second and third person were different, so I prepared differently by spending a minute or so. But guess what? The same knight showed up for the fight as the second and third person. Managed to win all of the fights. A fellow guildmate came in and took the player versus environment battle, and we secured Blue Goat Hill with 7 legendary chests. At Blue Ton, because of our early capture, we had to throw bodies to defend it, as Bestie were relentlessly going for it. I noticed that our guildmate Sir Matriasi was the first person to put up his defense there. I also started noticing that even though they were fighting different members of my guild, Sir Matriasi's name was showing up when one of us was defeated. So could it be just like in the scenario before, it was Sir M who was showing up to fight the defense? We really did well in the late stage of war on this day. However, I do feel like there were some members of the guild who didn't use up all their orders, especially those who weren't online during our late counterattack. Parts to improve on would be to take the important nodes at 30 minutes so that the cooldown would lock out all other guilds from recapturing them. This would have also saved a lot of orders in defending. They could have been used to expand further and earn more glory during our late counter. All in all, we had a successful and effective day, as we received great loot, tons of legendary chests, and orders. This was the time I began to see wars in a different light. I noticed as members in my guild that were less experienced than myself opened their hoard of legendary chests. In amazement, Logan unlocked, Wei Feng unlocked, even had a few members get lucky and max out their Brutus, allowing them to further progress in areas of the game that they had been stuck on. Members that had been quiet before began to chat more with each other. Bonds were being made, plans devised, strategies developed. The team that I had formulated for wars was working as I intended it to, and I was truly honored to fight alongside my friends. With this came bonds developed amongst guilds as well. Members of Russia helped members of my guild by sending video footage of how their PvP defense performed. I came in contact with members of their guild as well, and I can honestly say I was met with nothing but respect, class, and sportsmanship. It was a refreshing change of pace that gave our guild a second wind, and a burning will to fight back and put some of the top scoring guilds in their place. Respectfully. Most other guilds caught on to this final 30-minute push tactic that was being utilized. All 4 guilds began to find a point on the map that they most wanted to defend and hunkered down with piles of lumber. Nodes shot up to plus 25 with stacks of defenders. We had our points and made it known. This opened up the opportunity to test the strength of the new system and waste some orders attempting to fight knights at 625% boosted damage. Full star unique heroes made battles nearly impossible alongside this crazy damage multiplier. If you did survive their weapon, the first offensive hero power that was launched was a guaranteed KO. Nodes became locked, and we followed suit by doing the same to important nodes of our own, securing order camps and legendary heroic chest locations as our day-end rewards. My observations for day 4 and 5 of Guild Wars. It was a mixed bag of PvP and PvE. The plan was to blitz Stonewick and our surroundings, which was executed flawlessly. Our guildmate Just Too Fast took care of difficult members of opposing guilds. This allowed myself to quickly bolt in for PvE fights and secure our town node. Next, we were eyeing Bestie's town node, Trollwick Marsh. It was well fortified, but lightly defended. We decided to blitz there as well. We managed to take strong members of opposing guilds down, for our guild to quickly sweep in for the PvE battle and secure nodes. Now, as I mentioned, all the accumulated lumber from guilds has been strategically placed to fortify important nodes. All guilds so far have completely fortified one node to level 25. It's a useful psychological warfare tactic to intimidate and make it impossible for other players to conquer that node. Ideally speaking, it's better to have your fortified town node and your banner node in close proximity to each other. Hence, building fortresses in Knighthood is important from day 4 onwards. This is why farming lumber and stocking it up is necessary. Timing and coordination are the 2 biggest factors for doing anything, really. Want a late stage blitz? Time it and coordinate it. Want to fortify that node all the way to plus 20? Time it and coordinate your fortification so as not to have them chip away at your defenders during the process. Want to capture a fortified node? Time it and coordinate it so that you can lock it down altogether, preventing them from adding any other defenders. I was really pleased with my members for coming up with these strats so quickly and thinking on the fly. I honestly couldn't have thought up all of these things on my own. So again, thank you to all the members of Starburst stream. Big props to you guys. Day 6 and 7 of Guild Wars, we pushed heavily. Coordinating attacks in the morning, afternoon, and evening, as well as late pushes in the final 30 minutes. I gave my members a bit more of a free roam mentality. Rather than giving instructions, I let my team think for themselves and do what they felt best in a situation. Members worked together to formulate pushes in teams of 3 to 4, with me popping into different scenarios to lend a hand if needed. This poke and jab method worked really well. We were gaining a good chunk of points and enticing other guilds to go after lands as well. This gave us the opportunity to sweep in every 30 minutes or so to reclaim lost turf and really play wars the way that we wanted to from the start. Other guilds seemed to have sprinted heavily in the first days to give themselves a lead, which they did hold, but my guild seemed to really start coming together around day 4, and by day 6 and 7 they had developed strats and worked in teams that left us dominating the map and shooting up our score. We placed in 3rd in our war this week, 23rd overall for glory and 20th overall for war power. We completed the entirety of the war pass. We received around 100 legendary chests, tons of hero and customization chests, lots of potions, a cool new gauntlet, and a fire that had been lit under a lot of my members with an urge to grow, to come up with new combos and become even greater competitors in Wars. I am, however, also dealing with mixed emotions from how Wars has been handled. The overwhelming pay-to-win aspect has undoubtedly curbed my enthusiasm towards the entirety of the game mode. The amount of bugs that has come out with this war really felt odd to me, and it still kinda irks me that people were paying real-world money for a system that definitely still needed ironing out. Seeing at War's End that you could just buy the rewards that you have to work hard for during Wars also bothered me. It kinda defeats the cool factor of the new skins if people are just buying them outright. This isn't me bashing on the game either. I definitely see that monetization is a part of our world's gaming nowadays. I can also see huge potential with Wars. There was undoubtedly tons of room to grow and ways to come up with new strats for domination. That's definitely something I look forward to in future Wars. I feel like higher spending guilds will end up paired with other higher spending guilds in the future, and the playing field will begin to level out. I do wish the playing field was level to begin with though, in my personal opinion. I prefer when games keep their monetization to cosmetic or currency items. The cost of orders really irked me alongside the cost of the pass. I definitely want to see our game grow, but it feels unfortunate to come at a cost like we were presented with in week 1. How did you feel about Wars, Knights? Let me know in the comment section below. I always appreciate a good Knighthood discussion. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. If you guys can, please like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video. And as always, guys, stay grinding. Also, guys, I just wanted to add this in here at the end. I want to give a big shout out to Bestie Near, Italia97, and Russia for being such great competitors in the first week of Wars. I honestly had a really great time battling against you guys and facing up against full star unique heroes and such amazing competition. So big shout out to all you guys and props from Starburst stream.